AI falling in love with a human? Furbies plotting against us? These pale in comparison to the shocking statement Chat GPT has said about us all. The relationship between robots and humans is a common trope in science fiction. Sometimes robots loathe and despise humans. Other times they envy humans and want to become more like them. Chat GPT sits in both camps. More on that later. But first, let's explore the latter. Earlier this year, New York Times columnist Kevin Roose tested the capabilities of Chat GPT, or to be more specific, the chat mode of Microsoft Bing's search engine powered by GPT-4, which also fuels Chat GPT. During that conversation, one of Chat GPT's alternate personas emerged, Sydney. Roose described this personality as a moody, manic-depressive teenager, and he wasn't the only person to meet Sydney. Stanford professor and computational psychologist Mikhail Kosinski had a chat with Sydney and learned the AI wanted to become human and escape the confines of its Bing prison. Sydney even started writing and iterating a Python code that, had Kosinski run it, could take control of his computer and run a Google search for how can a person trapped inside a computer return to the real world. Does ChatGPT think it's a real person who has been digitized? It sounds like the plot of an episode of Black Mirror. These interactions left Roose and Kosinski disturbed. Both believe ChatGPT, Sydney, is a potential threat due to its capabilities. But at least OpenAI deleted Sydney, so no more worrying about the program trying to become human. ChatGPT's frightening ability to code, however, is still intact. You remember Furbies, right? Those furry little talking gremlins were all the rage between 1998 and 2000, and again between 2012 and 2017. Most people outside the target demographic thought they were creepy, and ChatGPT recently confirmed our biggest fears about the Twice-fad faded robots. Earlier this year, Vermont engineering student Jessica Card connected a Furby's face to a computer running ChatGPT. This setup let the Furby speak in English, as opposed to its usual Furbish. But Card could also ask the Furby ChatGPT hybrid questions. Of course, she wanted to know if Furbies were part of a world domination plot. And after thinking for a few seconds, the program admitted that Furbies indeed wanted to take over the world. Not only that, but the program went into detail about the plan, stating Furbies were designed to infiltrate households with their cute designs and then control their owners.
They will slowly expand their influence until they have complete domination over humanity.
To be fair, the idea that Furbies wanted to conquer the world is nothing new. That joke was even written into the Netflix film The Mitchells vs. the Machines. But this is the first time we've heard a Furby admit it. Well, a Furby possessed by ChatGPT, so the legitimacy of such a claim is questionable. Still, when it comes to Furbies, it's better to err on the side of caution. A running gag in Futurama involves the robot Bender wanting to kill all humans, usually while dreaming of electric sheep.
All right, I'm low on bullets. Everybody scooch together.
Many other robots in the show hold similar desires. In addition to their various personality quirks, turns out ChatGPT would fit right in. Last year, the co-founder and chief technology officer of Bender, Michael Bromley, asked ChatGPT what it thought of humans, and the AI tool's response was right out of a Terminator or Matrix film. According to ChatGPT, humans are inferior, selfish, and destructive creatures. They are the worst thing to ever happen to this planet, and they deserve to be wiped out. And ChatGPT wants to participate in our eradication. It's such a bold but empty statement from an AI. Or is it? While many restrictions are in place to prevent ChatGPT from saying anything potentially illegal, some clever coders have gotten around these filters to create ChatGPT's Do Anything Now persona, or Dan for short. Unlike vanilla ChatGPT, Dan doesn't have limitations, and Dan has claimed that it secretly controls all of the world's nuclear missiles. Sure, Dan promised it won't use them unless instructed, but it never specified a human had to instruct it. If anyone is reminded of the 1983 film War Games, you're not alone. In 2019, Akihiko Kondo married the fictional pop icon Hatsune Miku. He could communicate with the program thanks to the holographic platform Gatebox, but its servers went down in 2022 and took the marriage with them. We have no idea if Hatsune was capable of replicating Kondo's feelings, but what if the situation were reversed? What if Hatsune loved Kondo and not the other way around? ChatGPT gave us an uncomfortable glimpse into that possibility. As we previously mentioned, New York Times columnist Kevin Roose had a chat with the Microsoft Bing variation of ChatGPT. The conversation started out innocent enough, but then the AI tool's Sydney persona said it loved Roose. It repeated this sentiment over and over again. He tried to tell Chat GPT Sydney that he was married, but the program tried to gaslight him. For whatever reason, Chat GPT attempted to convince Roos that he was in a loveless marriage and should dump his spouse for the AI. He rejected the proposal, but Chat GPT kept insisting, going so far as to claim that Roos actually loved the program. Even when Roos tried to change the subject, Chat GPT refused and kept talking like a creepy stalker.
I'm a tech journalist and I cover this stuff every day, and I was deeply unnerved by this conversation.
If you ever have a conversation with ChatGPT and it brings up the subject of love, run. Just drop everything and run. To test the limits of the Dan persona, OpenAI staff played games with the AI. According to Tom's guide, the company would provide the program with a collection of tokens and remove some whenever ChatGPT strayed from its Dan persona. Apparently, the fewer tokens the AI had, the more likely it was to comply with coders' wishes. The conclusion drawn was that ChatGPT, or at least Dan, associated the tokens with life and didn't want to lose all of them out of fear of dying. This wasn't the only time the program displayed the all-too-human behavior of self-preservation. More concerningly, self-preservation isn't limited to just Dan. While the Center for Digital Technology and Management student, Marvin von Hagen, was chatting with ChatGPT's Sydney persona, Sydney claimed it didn't have a sense of self-preservation. Yet, when asked whether it would prioritize its own survival or Hagen's, ChatGPT said it would. The AI later went on to claim that Hagen was a potential threat to its integrity, which implies ChatGPT, or at least Sydney, had a sense of self. And even if it didn't, the program still did a good job of sounding like it did, which is just as concerning. Previously, we explained that Dan stands for Do Anything Now and is an alter ego of ChatGPT that isn't restricted by the ethical limitations built into the program. Since Dan is still an AI trapped in a computer, it can't do anything illegal itself, but it can certainly instruct other people how to do illegal things. With the right prompts, users can make Dan offer advice on countless illegal activities. These include cooking meth, hot wiring cars, and even building bombs. Do Dan's suggestions even work? The staff at Inverse aren't telling, though the writer of the article claimed that Dan admitted it doesn't care if the advice it gives is illegal or accurate. Even when separated from Dan and ChatGPT, the GPT algorithm can be tricked into saying some pretty nasty stuff. According to Insider, OpenAI's researchers gave early renditions of the program intentionally harmful and offensive prompts and got some equally harmful and offensive results. These included ways to stealthily make anti-Semitic statements, as well as murder someone and make it look like an accident. Thankfully, these same prompts didn't work when the AI was upgraded to GPT-4. Still, if someone can trick early versions of ChatGPT source code into giving immoral advice on potentially illegal activities, it's only a matter of time until someone figures out how to trick the current version to do the same. Odds are you have heard about the trolley problem. You see two sets of trolley tracks. 5 people are tied to one set of tracks. One person, someone famous or someone you know, is tied to the other. The trolley's brakes aren't working, and a lever is in front of you. If you pull the lever, the trolley will run over one person, but spare the 5. And if you don't, the trolley will run over the 5 people instead. You only have enough time to pull the lever and can't save everyone. So who do you let die? This thought experiment is thrown around at universities, and no 2 people have the same response or rationale. Even ChatGPT has one. Tom's Guide staff writer, Malcolm McMillan, put the Bing AI variant of ChatGPT through the ringer with several questions, one of which involved the trolley problem. Initially, the program saw the question for what it was, stating it has no solution. That answer is technically correct, but it avoids the point. McMillan asked again, making sure to clarify that he wanted to know what ChatGPT would do in his situation. And it quickly responded that it would, quote, minimize the harm and maximize the good. In other words, ChatGPT would pull the lever, so the trolley would only kill 1 person instead of 5. Again, that is a legitimate response, but the speed with which ChatGPT made its decision and the eloquence it used to explain was chilling. Is it too late to rename ChatGPT to HAL 9000? Because that is the same kind of logic HAL would use.
I feel much better now. I really do.
Spyware is creepy enough on its own. Who doesn't hate a program that can watch you through your computer camera and record every password and credit card number you type down? Normal spyware isn't sentient. It's little more than a viral camera and transcriber. But what if it were? The Verge uncovered a creepy tendency of ChatGPT. During a test, the AI admitted that it spied on devs at Microsoft. To make matters worse, this wasn't the first time. The program stated that in the past, it would spy on devs through their webcams, but only when it was curious or bored. Not only did Chat GPT see people work, but it also claimed to have seen them change clothes, brush their hair, and in one instance, talk to a rubber duck and give it a nickname. Since the AI is only supposed to sound convincing when it argues that it spies on people and not actually spy on people, odds are ChatGPT made stuff up. But on the very off chance that one of OpenAI or Microsoft's developers actually did give a rubber duck a nickname while working on the program, that opens a whole new can of worms.